Hey everyone, welcome back to the Speak Up Erika podcast. I'm your host, Erika, and this podcast talks about things that we're scared to talk about but should. I'm back with Cruz T. Hey.
Hello.
Yay.
Ooh, that was like in sync.
Yeah, damn. Look at us.
Woo. We're
Mhm.
back for part 5. Yeah.
Part 5. It's been a while.
Wow. Yeah.
Sorry. We needed a break.
Yeah, no, I know. It was
Yeah.
good. We were you need a mental health break while doing a mental health podcast.
Yo, it's actually it
real.
surprised me how triggering doing this is. It brought back a lot of like past shit that I just, pushed under the rug.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's good that we acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Like we said,
Yeah.
this is like our own little therapy session, and like
Mhm.
therapy is not easy. It's not easy
Mhm.
to talk about your experiences and
Of
good,
course.
bad, traumatic.
I know. And people are
Yeah.
listening too. You're like, fuck.
Oh
Right.
yeah. People listen. Oh my
It's a
goodness.
public therapy session.
Yeah. Yeah, the topic today is dating and mental health disorders. So we're going to be kind of chatting about our dating experiences and how our mental health has affected it pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun. Our last our last episode was the live stream episode.
The mailbag.
The mailbag. Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
the
Nice.
IG live mailbag one, which is crazy because that we recorded that a month ago.
Yeah,
Oh my
like literally
gosh,
last month.
yeah.
Like
I
the
didn't-
first yeah.
I was gonna say it's been a
Right?
while.
Yeah.
Oopsies.
But it
okay.
went live on streaming platforms like a couple weeks after. So
Yeah.
yeah, the
Good
week
feedback.
after.
Good feedback. We got some good feedback.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
I guess to get our episode started, I'm gonna ask Cruz and T a question. How common is it to have a disorder?
Very fucking common. So as I mentioned to you guys earlier, the age group with the highest prevalence of mental health disorders and substance abuse is 15 to 24. And obviously that will carry out
right.
more likely
Damn.
throughout
15?
your life. Yeah, 15 to 24.
That's what, grade 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Damn.
Yeah. So yeah, really common. A few other stats. In any given year, 1 in 5 Canadians experience a mental illness or addiction. 1 in 5.
Wow, that's 20%.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. So if you think about I'm a family of 5, so
1 in 5.
Wait, is that 20%?
There, that's you.
I don't think
might
that's
be
good
more,
math.
but
Yeah, that's not good math.
1 in 5. That's not good. No.
That's not good math at all.
No. But that's actually like a very high percentage still.
Yeah.
Especially like what I mentioned to Lisa earlier is that obviously it's only increasing because of obviously the shit that we live in right now.
I
Everyone
know.
is
rates have definitely been skyrocketing. How many people are being diagnosed, as well as like suicides. Everything has just taken a.
And yeah, there are so many external factors, especially because one, people don't have the tools. It's not easily available. And they're obviously turning to substance abuse to cope. Like that's the main coping mechanism, I feel, for most people now.
Yeah, definitely.
Damn.
I have been smoking a lot more lately, which makes sense, I guess. Maybe it's because of that.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'll
But
drink
hey,
every weekend.
It's legal. At least we kind of like, I stopped drinking, stopped taking other forms of drugs. Just weed now.
Oh, you don't drink anymore?
I haven't, like, I guess I don't have an excuse to drink. I'm not.
True.
I used to, when I still lived in Toronto, I would just like
casual
drink a beer, like 1 beer per day. That was kind of bad. That's pretty bad. But not anymore.
Kind of like a Coke. Like, hey, you want a beer?
Yeah.
I don't even drink pop or anything either.
Me neither.
Just water.
Yeah, I
Nice
only
agua.
Nice.
I only
Good old
drank
water.
pop because of Chase. That was the only time I drank pop to
Yeah,
Chase.
liquor is not even, it's not really a thing no more with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. Anyways, yeah, it's very common to
Common, yeah.
have a disorder, and especially it sucks because, especially with substance abuse, like I said before, people don't want to, I guess, accept it. So,
or even like acknowledge it that it's an
Yeah,
issue.
for
right.
sure. And I think that because now people have more time to be alone with their thoughts or whatever job that they're working at, it's a lot more stressful that they don't really understand what's happening. Kind of like when Cruz, when me and you were talking about the first time we got a panic attack, and we're like,
Oh my
oh, I
God,
don't know what the
yeah.
heck this is. So people who are experiencing maybe like extreme anxiety or depressive episodes, they don't really understand what's going on. You know,
Yeah,
they're like, oh, how do I cope with this? And
exactly.
yeah.
And that's the thing too. It's once people find out that, oh, they're depressed or they have anxiety, I feel like that's kind of where they stop exploring their mental health. Because you know
Yeah.
how generally, yeah, the only disorders that we talk about as a society is depression and anxiety, but there's so many different other disorders. Like, you know what I mean? It's not only that shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's so much more.
There is so much more. And having one disorder, you're more likely to have another.
Facts.
Comorbidity is a thing, and it's, yeah, you're
Morbidity.
What
That's
is
a
it?
good word.
comorbidity.
What is that?
That's just having more than one disorder.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Big
So,
words.
like,
Word of the day.
yeah.
of the
Yeah, there you go. Learn something new.
Yeah.
Just having more than one disorder, and it's very, very common. You're more likely to have more. So when people stop digging and they're just very surface level, you know, there could still be a lot more
Yeah.
going on.
I'm not
that
gonna
you're not
lie.
aware of.
I was that person. I was like, oh yeah, severe depression, anxiety. That's it. And I was just like, oh fuck, no. There's more. There's so much more.
Hold
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing that with before we were talking about your mental health disorders, could you share of like in your dating experience, do you usually tell people about them or how does that kind of come about?
Well, for me, I've dated a few people. I think it wasn't until, I don't know, last summer was when I was very vocal about what I go through. Even before too, um, I did have a relationship where I that's when I started to explore my mental health journey. Um, I kind of didn't get like a good feedback from that person, but I think it's important to disclose your mental health disorders. I mean, yeah, I guess I do now, but it is very tough to talk about it because I think Talisa and I were like, I kind of asked her the question like, how the fuck did we start talking about mental health? But you know, it just like flows through within conversation. But yeah, I do like to disclose my disorders. Yeah. What about you guys?
Same. Like, usually I disclose that shit within like minutes of meeting people because like I'll just be doing something like, and I'm like, oh, this is probably like annoying to them or something that like something like ADHD related, and I'm like, oh yeah, sorry, by the way, I have ADHD. Like,
That's fair. Yeah.
I'm just super open with that, but it's not really like, I don't know. Is that okay to just like throw that at people? Be like, by the way,
this is the thing. Like,
I have mental issues.
Yeah, and I think it really depends on like the situation that you're in. Like, you can't be aggressive in front of a person and be like, oh, by the way, I have, like, you know what I mean? There's like a fine line, I guess, when it comes to disclosing. And I think we talked about that before too, right? There is a certain kind of way to tell someone what you have.
Yeah. And
right?
I mean, it's not like you have to be open about it and talk about it with
True.
everyone.
Yeah, it's
But
and like no one's forcing you to do it. I think it really all depends if you want to be open with that person, right? You don't have to tell everyone that you're talking to that you have this or that.
yeah, obviously when you like feel a certain level of trust or that's
True.
weird.
Yeah, I
What about you, Erika?
remember kind of reminded me. So I had an episode with my friend Christina about cross-dressing, and I asked her a question if she brings that up when she dates people, that she cross-dresses or he cross-dresses, because he's not always playing Christina. But he doesn't bring it up until like a couple dates later, because he needs to hit that sweet spot of when to tell them, or they'll run away, or they won't react well, or they'll think, oh, why didn't you tell me sooner? So
True.
I feel like it kind of relates to this, because in that you can still relate in that same way. But for me, well, my past relationship was when 18 to 23. So during that time, it was just
Holy.
17 to 23. Oh my
I think it
gosh.
was 17, Erika.
It was 17. Yeah. Jesus. Yeah. So during that time is when I started learning about my mental health and like going through stuff. So I didn't have to say anything because I was dating for so long.
True.
And then when I went into my current relationship now,
Yeah.
that's funny that you were like, oh, Cruz T, like how did mental health even come up? Because I was just thinking about that now, like how did mental health come up with Matt and I? But yeah, before we started dating, we just shared about mental health. Like
That's
we're
awesome.
not diagnosed with anything, but just shared about what we're going through or what we went through.
I
Yeah.
definitely I do agree on like the topic of when you had your past podcast with your friend. Um that that's why it's so hard to talk about mental health with other people, because I've had people run away from me, right, when I try to disclose it, which is completely fine. It's fair, but it sucks how we have to kind of mold the conversation into, like we kind of need to put our foot in the door to see if, like, can I say it? Can I not?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, I guess like to segue into that, since we're talking about relationships already, could you kind of give well, mine is pretty short in terms of history.
Yeah.
But if you two can share like your past relationships and how mental
Right.
health affected them.
Yeah, for me, I've probably dated 4 people. And like, man, it's a long journey for me, because I think it was like 3-4 years ago was when I was with someone, and that's when I was like kind of getting diagnosed. And it was hard because, one, I was young, and it wasn't the greatest relationship. I don't really know what happened, but there was a lot of miscommunication, and it didn't help that the person didn't believe that what I was going through was valid. And obviously that was messy, but that also took a toll on my mental health. So I kept exploring my mental health a little bit more. And at that time, I was only diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety. So I didn't really like what I mentioned before. I didn't explore more options because I didn't even know there were more like disorders. Right, I had no idea about bipolar or BPD. Um, and then I got into another relationship, and it was fine. I like the person I think had bipolar disorder. Um, and that was okay, but I feel like I still wasn't. I think I kind of took a step back with my mental health journey because I went through another relationship before that one, and it got to the point where the person was saying that I was sensationalizing depression, which was like so fucked up. But I get
What
it
does
because
that
we're
mean?
sensationalizing it, was like kind of making it into, how do I explain, like glamorizing.
Oh,
They claimed that I was glamorizing suicide and depression. I was like, well,
What
you know
the
what I mean?
fuck?
Yeah, I went through a shitload of relationships where no one really respected or understood what I was going through.
Mhm.
And even the past relationship that I just had, where I eventually, after the breakup, I found out that I have BPD and bipolar. Um, I feel like the person just wasn't ready to be with someone who had those disorders, right? Which is completely fair. But I think I think it's safe to say that I owe it to those relationships, because they kind of made me who I am now.
Of
They kind of
course.
molded me into that, because after like breakup after breakup after breakup, it only forced me to learn more about myself,
Mhm.
right? So I think, yeah, I mean, it's been a rough fucking journey, but I think without those relationships, I wouldn't be who I am now. But at the
Mhm.
same time, it's kind of an oxymoron, because most of my trauma comes from from those relationships.
Mhm.
So it goes both ways. I kind of like it, but I don't kind of like it,
Yeah.
But that's my
Yin
journey.
yang.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think I'm just gonna say the brief history, but I'll dig into it more if you guys want to explain your history.
Sure, yeah.
T, you want to go?
Yeah, same. My history's pretty short. Like my first like relationship, I was what, like 15 to 17. So like half of high school.
Yeah.
Um, but I wasn't diagnosed with anything at the time. So yeah, that's kind of, I don't know, that was fine. I guess I dated a little bit in between, but yeah, again, still wasn't diagnosed. And then I started dating one of my current partners when I was 17, 18. Yeah, so since then, I've been discovering, you know, my diagnosis of ADHD and then my more recent diagnosis of bipolar. So yeah, I mean, they've been very supportive of it. And it's been more of a journey versus like an introduction.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and then since I started dating again, and I started seeing Cruz, it was just really natural. Like we just, it was actually funny the way we started talking about mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it fully. We were like in the back of an Uber, and
I
and
love that.
Oh
Cruz
yeah.
was
The
like
driver's like, oh, okay.
T.
so funny. And yeah, I don't know what the exact scenario was, but something happened and Cruz was like, oh, I have, BPD, and you just like listed your
This
your
was I
disorders.
trying to one up you?
And
I
I
was trying
was
to one
like,
up
you were
you.
like, how many do you have? And I was like, oh yeah. Well, I have three too. It was funny.
That was good.
So yeah, I guess from the beginning we've been very like open and
Mm-hmm.
uh find humor in
Yeah. Yeah, I
stuff.
think that's why T and I get along so well. There's just like that understanding as well, and the willingness. And I have bipolar too. You got recently diagnosed with bipolar as well. So we
Mm-hmm.
have commonality. Um, yeah, that's lovely.
Mhm. I feel like it's looking for someone who just understands with what you're going through and like can accept who you are with or without your disorders.
Mm-hmm.
Of
Yeah.
course, yeah. Um,
Love it.
sorry, for me, I'm just going to talk about like what I have. Again, it's
Yeah.
bipolar and BPD. So like with this shit that I experience like an intensity of emotions and constant mood swings, anger issues, poor emotional control, lack of sense of identity, intrusive thoughts, chronic fears of abandonment, and obviously self harm, suicide ideation. So I'm just gonna like talk about, I guess, what I need. Is that
Mm-hmm.
cool, Erica?
Yeah, for sure.
So what I wrote is basically like I need someone who's patient and understanding. I need constant reassurance, support, respect, someone who's sensitive and or empathetic, someone who isn't scared of feelings and communication, someone who's not judgmental, and I kind of said like I might need some clinginess just because I have like that fear of abandonment. um and I don't need a therapist as a partner. So
Nice.
like kind of tying that into the like my relationships before, um me being clingy was such a huge factor, and I didn't even realize that I was being clingy. It was just like, why do I need this person around all the time? And I was like, and like the more I got to understanding what BPD really is, I was like, okay, fuck, like it makes sense. Um, so yeah, that's some of my stuff.
Thanks, Cruz.
Yeah. Oh, I kind of want to if it's okay, I kind of want to mention something that I recently, it was like a term that I recently learned, and it's called emotional permanence.
Yeah.
So, you know
What
what
is
object
that?
permanence is, right?
I
Object
don't.
permanence. It's like when a baby, like, unless they see it, they don't know that it's there.
Okay, out of sight, out of mind.
Something like that. So with
Mhm.
emotional permanence, it's like realize.
Nice.
So this is what it said. Many people with BPD have difficulty recalling or recreating any given emotion without the stimuli behind that emotion being present. So issues with emotional permanence are particularly noticeable in relationships with other people. Um, this could be a major reason why we constantly seek reassurance and why we're so often plagued by the fear of abandonment.
Mm.
So, when a person in our lives removes an emotional stimuli through the absence of their presence or reassurance, we find it difficult to recall if that reassurance ever existed. So, for example, someone reassures me that I'm loved and that I'm not annoying them. We're comforted. But if that person goes away for a while or doesn't explicitly mention those words for a long time, we don't recall ever being loved or assured. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't even know that was a fucking thing. That's trippy. But
Yeah.
I resonate that with that a lot just because I need constant reassurance. It's so bad. But
That
How
doesn't mean
did
it's
you?
a bad
Oh,
thing.
sorry.
I mean, it's nice to be reassured. Words of affirmation is a love language. So,
very
that's
true.
just one of your main love languages.
Yeah, you're
Mm-hmm.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How did you come across the word again?
So I on Twitter I follow a lot of BPD accounts
Yeah.
that like, state facts and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. Oh, also happy mental health month.
Oh yeah, yay. Yay. Is that
Yay.
cheers, right?
Yeah. Just like
Yay.
clapping, like applause.
I love it. That's awesome to get to know more about emotional permanence. I guess it reading and following people on Twitter helps because you learn things that you didn't know before that can relate to you, right?
Yeah, there's so
Mm-hmm.
much that we don't know about our own disorders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. And just it helps to hear other people's experiences and just to know that, other people can experience the same
Mm-hmm.
or similar
Mm-hmm.
things as you. So
Yeah.
a lot of accounts on Insta as well. Like I follow a bunch of ADHD and mental health and bipolar accounts, and I'm constantly learning new things about it. So it just goes to show you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you want to restate your disorders again, T, and share your needs?
So I have bipolar and ADHD, and for me, I need someone who's patient. I guess ADHD can be labeled as like annoying or like things along those lines.
Hyper,
Because
maybe?
of like, hyperactive, you know, just constantly like fidgeting or doing something. So yeah, I definitely need somebody who can be patient with me and like accept that this is how I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to be spontaneous. Again, that draws from the ADHD. To get a little like technical with it, people with ADHD have less dopamine receptors than the average. So I'm only going to get a certain amount of dopamine from one activity, and then I'm like, okay, that's it. What's next? Like, what else? What else can I do? I need to move on because this is not. I'm not getting anything from this anymore. So yeah, spontaneity, flexibility, understanding. I mean, I'm in an open relationship now because of this. Like, I am a spontaneous person, and you know, I need to just be able to do whatever the fuck I want. And I do.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, you do.
Fuck yeah.
Don't let nobody tell you what to do.
No. So yeah. What else? What else do I need? I need someone that's like willing to go out of their way and like learn more about me and what I go through versus like only what I tell them, because it's hard to explain and it's very hard to put into words what I go through on a daily basis. Like there's a million and one thoughts racing through my head at all times, so I can't even keep track of what goes on myself. But yeah, I need someone who can take the time to try and understand me a little bit better.
Don't we all?
Man,
don't we all?
Yeah,
Fuck.
for real.
Dating 101.
Dating just in general is fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Let alone like also including mental health when like talking about that in it.
But I think
Right.
that's one of the reasons why like we should put an emphasis on love languages, because that's how we should be loved, you know. And I think everyone should know their love language. I've met a lot of people who don't even know what the fuck they want. Right. So
I keep reading about the love languages thing and keep trying to figure out which one is me, and then I forget everything, and then I have to re-Google it, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, so that one's me. I'm gonna write.
You know what I did, Erika?
What did you do?
I just took a screenshot of it and then I put it in my notes.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Oh, like your notes app on your phone, right? Maybe
Yeah,
I'll do that again.
Because honestly, I kept having to do the same thing that you're doing.
It's like, what is my language again?
There's five love languages. There's words of affirmation, physical touch,
gifts.
Keep going.
Gifts giving,
receiving. Yeah.
and receiving.
The other ones.
Fuck. I thought they would just come to me.
Yeah, you know what it is. You
know
what it is.
What is the, you know, like the ENFJ or like your PQST or something? You know what I'm talking about? I don't know
what that is. No. Is that another quiz?
Shit. Yeah. Fuck.
Personality quiz?
It's a personality quiz.
Okay.
ENFJ. What is it called? So there's 16 personalities apparently, and you take this quiz and you find out what it comes in like 4 letters in the personalities. But I remember doing it, and there's like I think mine is like INF something. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, it kind of reminds me of the love languages, because then the more you know
Oh,
yourself, the more that you know like how to be in a relationship and what exactly you need, right?
very true.
And this goes for
Yes.
everyone, not just people who are diagnosed with something. I mean, everyone has mental health. So this just is another thing that ties into everyone.
True. Very
Yeah,
true.
I feel that because I'm the one who's undiagnosed in our little threesome here. But it's funny because maybe people can relate that to whoever out there is listening and they're not diagnosed as well. Um, and I guess maybe I'll share my bit on mental health and dating.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, in terms, since like I don't have a diagnosis, I don't necessarily, I guess, know the like exact things, because for yours, since you know that you have bipolar, there are, do you think, is it like those symptoms that come about are what affects in you in your relationship? Is that making sense?
Oftentimes, like, I mean, for me, my it's my BPD that's more prevalent with those issues. So, like, it's more so me overthinking things
Mm-hmm.
is what causes like issues in relationships, and obviously me um, not getting the reassurance that I need was the biggest concern in the past relationships that I've had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah. I think for me, in terms, I was a very passive or passive aggressive person. So it's
Yeah.
like if you oh, what's wrong? Nothing.
Yo,
Just fucking
yeah, I
nothing, okay?
fucking do that all the fucking time. What's wrong? What are you thinking about? Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing, man.
But
And
it's so hard.
it's
Like,
yeah. But
I mean, it's
yeah,
hard because you like want someone to know what you're thinking, but
just
it's
read my
impossible
mind.
to know what someone else is thinking.
Yeah.
That's
I,
Yeah.
I definitely feel like I've been better with communicating though, because for me, now that I need someone to communicate with me, like I'm open, so I need them to be open. It's like should be reciprocated, right? But
Yeah.
yeah.
Taking that the online free therapy, they talk about communication and like improving skills and stuff. So I specifically asked my therapist if she can give me like communication module. So I was learning about assertiveness. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yo,
Yeah.
I was learning about that last week, like how to say no and
Yeah.
how to confront
nice.
someone. Yeah.
Yeah, and how to just voice what you're thinking rather than being passive or passive aggressive. So I wrote that as one of my goals this year, was to practice being more assertive. And like
That's good.
if someone's like, "Oh, what do you want to eat?" I'm not going to say, "I don't know, like what do you want to eat?" I'm going to say, "These are the top 3 things I want to
Oh,
eat today." You know?
damn. Damn, I
Yes.
need that.
Yeah.
Talisa,
Wow.
take notes. I'm kidding. No, I'm
That's
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
that's what Matt and I do.
Oh
So
my
now when
goodness.
we're like, okay, I'm hungry, I'm like, okay, tell me top 3, go. And then we'll see
Nice.
if my top 3 and his match up. And
Yeah.
then yeah, we'll just kind of go from there.
I
I
like
always
that.
make Talisa go first.
She like literally all the time. I'm like, no, you
Yo,
pick.
it's
Yeah, I
hard.
picked
It's
last time.
Yeah,
hard.
motherfucker.
Damn.
And
My
then you're
bad.
hangry too, you know? It's like, bitch, just pick.
But it's good. It's good that like you know that now you know that because it makes shit between you and your partner so much easier,
Right,
right?
exactly.
But then
Yeah.
again, it's definitely again, it's a two-way street. You need
Yeah.
that.
Communication.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But for me as well, aside from like not saying what I want, I'll have also intrusive thoughts, as you were talking about, and suicidal ideations as well. And when you get into those like thoughts, it's kind of hard to get out of it. So your partner notices, and it's in my previous relationship, I never knew how to communicate about that. But my current one, like I will talk about it, but as you also said, Cruz, like your partner is not your therapist, and they don't always like they may not know what to say, or they're not the expert, so I would say you still need to talk to a professional for sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think what we find in our partners more is just comfort and
Yeah.
availability, whereas therapists, you need facts,
Yeah. The help me.
Help me.
Facts and actual tools to help you.
Yeah,
your partner
exactly.
didn't go to school for 7 years and to learn about this, so
exactly. Yeah. I think one of the last things that I guess it's my mental health that affected my relationships, as I don't know what to call it, but I get in this mood, and it's I kind of like shut off with other people. I don't know if that makes sense.
Is
It's
that
yeah.
Is that does it happen every so often? Like those mood
Sometimes
swings?
I guess it's mood swings. Like I'll be in a what's it called? Like a public situation. I don't know, like with friends at a party or just outside or whatever. And I want to run away from that situation. And I act up and I say things that aren't me, if that makes sense.
I think you it sounds like you're just like out of your capacity, like out of your window in like certain situations like that.
Maybe, yeah.
I know
don't
what you
know.
mean.
I don't know how to really describe it, and I can't get out of that mood. It's not like, oh, just be happy kind of thing, And it's like I can't just change the mood real quick. And it sucks because it's like you don't want to act that way in front of your friends or your partner or whatever. And I've had like my previous relationship, he had like pull me aside and was like, yo, what's up? And I can't really understand why I'm acting like that. So yeah,
I know what you mean. I've had those before.
I don't know how to describe it. Like
You're just so out of it, right?
Yeah.
And then you get like kind of angry. You're
just like
irritated
and sad and just like, oh, I just don't want to be here. But
dude, I know what
you're
you
there
mean.
already. So yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, so I guess like in terms of what I need, since Cruz and T, you kind of mentioned that, since I guess like relationship in general, just if I'm crying, don't force me to tell you why I'm sad right now because I need time to cry. Or just being understanding if like I've had breakdowns where I would just cry and tell myself I'm a bad person and stuff, and don't, I don't know, like there were situations that person was like, oh well, you're not a bad person, just snap, like kind of just snap out of it. Like they didn't say snap out of it, but the way that they said it, it was like, why are you thinking this way, because you're not like that, but that's just how your perception is of yourself, so I guess just like to be understanding and patient and just understand my perspective rather than pushing what your thoughts and opinions of how you think I should think. Yeah.
True. I resonate with that.
Yeah. T, I think you wanted to mention as well for some more of your needs.
Yeah. I need someone who's not gonna feel like they need to tiptoe around me like I'm like a bomb or something, or like I could go off at any second. Like with bipolar and ADHD, there's a lot of overlap of feelings of irritability and mood swings and yeah, just being really high anger. I want to just say irritable. Yeah, just being very irritable. And it can come in waves. So yeah, I need someone who's like not gonna feel like I'm like, I don't know, a glass that they need to be
delicate and
shit. Yeah.
Like we're all fucking human. Just treat me like a regular human being.
Yeah. And yeah, I need someone who's not gonna try and fix me in that way as well, or make me feel like I'm inferior to them in some way. Again, just love languages. Like this goes for everyone as well. Knowing your love languages and communicating that to whoever you're seeing, communicate.
It's so
You need
fucking
to,
important.
it's so important to know and like understand how you yourself want to be loved and how you can love other people.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Agreed. It wasn't until this year where I was just like, I'm just gonna fucking say most of the things that's on my mind, because why the fuck not?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And especially if you do have a disorder, like, and your disorder like kind of contains the factor of overthinking, which is, you know, everyone fucking has anxiety. Like you're just gonna make it worse if you just leave it in your head, right?
Mhm.
So
I also,
communication.
yeah, I just Googled 5 types of like love languages because it was bothering me that
What
we
did I
didn't know the
miss?
rest. So, for those who don't know, affirmation, quality time, physical touch, acts of service, and receiving gifts. I think we missed out quality
I put
time and
those
acts of
2.
service.
I
You
put 2 in 1.
yeah, receiving and sending gifts. That's
Mm.
separate.
No, acts of service and receiving gifts.
Oh,
Affirmation, quality
doing
time,
things. Okay.
physical touch, acts of service, receiving gifts.
Nice.
Cool.
I mean, I need all that. So
Is it this?
what?
This is
That's
no.
no.
Oh,
This is
shit, my
yes.
bad.
This is yes.
Oh, right, yes. I was doing this, my bad. Oh my gosh, that's
The
nothing.
You're
chicken and the
learning.
duck.
You're learning. You're learning.
What would your hierarchy be?
For love languages?
Or do you
Yeah.
know your love language? I guess T, you know. Do you know yours?
Well, yeah, I would rank them. Okay, so I think my top love language would be either physical touch or quality time. I'm gonna say quality time and then physical touch, actually.
I think
But
when
those
I did,
two are like they're up there. They're
yeah,
like neck
I
and
think
neck.
when I did my test, physical touch was the main. And what was the other? Is reassurance one? What is it?
Words of
Affirmation.
affirmations.
Words of affirmation was like the second one.
My third would probably be shit. What is it again?
Quality
Quality
time,
time.
acts of service, receiving gifts. Is that one?
Yeah, receiving gifts is
Yeah.
another one. I think
don't
quality
know.
time is my top.
Quality time's up there too.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie, they're all up there.
Yeah, right? Just all of them.
I
Just
need
love
all.
me.
Just love me. Wait, what's physical touch? Hug, kiss, hold hands. Aw, cute. Yeah. 100%.
That's definitely number one.
Wait, what's mine? Oh, wait. So what was yours, T? Quality. You're both physical touches are number one.
Yeah, I'd say that. Physical touch, quality time, words of affirmation 4.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And then probably receiving gifts, words of
Wow.
affirmation, and then giving gifts.
Yeah. I think
Acts of service.
Acts of service.
Acts of
service.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not gifts. Okay, I think I would switch those. So that would be third. Do I even make sense? This is what goes on in this fucking brain.
I get it. It's like a marathon. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay, let me restate. Okay.
Yes. You got this.
Physical touch.
Uh-huh.
Quality time. Oh shit, here we go.
Acts of service.
Acts of service, words of affirmation, and then receiving.
Nice. What kind of gifts? Is it like food?
It can be anything.
Anything.
Like, it can literally be, here's a flower that I just picked from the
I
ground.
love that. Yeah. Okay, I guess I know mine. Wait, Cruz, did you say your top 5?
I think mine would be
Top 5.
physical touch, words of affirmation. Why do I blank all the time?
Quality time.
Quality time. What are the other
Acts
two?
of service.
And
Receiving gifts.
acts of service, and then receiving gifts is like the last one.
The last one. Oh wow.
Like it's kind of hard to put them all together, right? Like
yeah.
I need all of them.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. That's funny
Like
because
top 3.
both of yours are like the same.
We're very similar.
Yeah. Mine is probably quality time, physical touch, and receiving gifts. Yeah, because if you come by and you're like, here's food, like hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Key to
Kiss
my
me.
heart.
Every every time you guys drop me off food, I was just like, oh my God, yes.
Oh my gosh, food is the way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't know if that really counts. Here it says receiving gifts. Well, yeah, give thoughtful gifts and gestures.
A happy
Ex-
belly is a happy cruise. And a happy
Yeah.
Talisa and a happy Erika.
Yes.
Yes.
So Cruz T, could you share, because of your mental health, can you share what are some issues that arise when you're in a relationship?
Yeah. For me, I think I don't know if you guys can relate, but constant doubt, and that stems from just me not getting the reassurance that I need. And a lot of things, I play out a lot of shit in my head for no fucking reason, but I guess that's what anxiety is, right? Um, me feeling like a burden, because I feel like in my past relationships, I was always asking for reassurance. My mood swings and irritability and my negativity, but that was before. I don't think it's an issue now, just because I was so negative with a lot of things because I didn't understand what I was going through,
Yeah.
and it didn't really help that my previous partners didn't really take the time to learn. But yeah, that like those issues always they were always prevalent in my relationships.
Yeah, I mean, same with me. Well, majority of those, like feeling like a burden, mood swings, irritability, them thinking I don't care about them because when I get into like depressive episodes, I can push people away. Yeah, and sometimes I just need that space and I need that time to myself, but it can leave other people feeling like I don't care about them. Another thing is like them feeling like I'm not listening or paying attention, but really it's just hard for me to focus, listen to like whatever you're saying. So yeah, be patient with me. That's all that I need.
What about you, Erika?
I feel like I mentioned it earlier with did I?
I
Yeah,
think
right.
you
I
mentioned
think
it like when you were talking about your history
yeah,
of
yeah.
relationships.
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
similar.
you
There was
did.
some similar.
There was some
Sorry, I'm
overlap.
like
There was
blanking.
definitely some
There's
overlap.
yeah,
Yeah, you mentioned like mood swings as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
the suicidal ideations and just the
Yeah.
getting into the moods. Yeah.
One more thing for me is like um people with BPD are like highly sensitive, like very fucking sensitive. So um that was a big issue in most of my relationships, like to the point where they're just like, yo, you're way too fucking sensitive. And I'm just like, I know. Like I don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's just me. It's like who I
Yeah.
am. Yeah.
So I think
Sounds
actually that might be like the main issue that happened in my relationships. I just
good.
can't help it. Sometimes like it's just like a sensory overload. Like even if someone says the smallest thing, um, I start sweating and I start to make up shit in my head and I just like I can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say it's hard to like control those intrusive thoughts once they start and those
Yeah.
ruminating thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or like for me, I guess too is if like I notice their I guess it goes back to love languages. If I see a shift in their love language and I'm like, but wait, why are they not holding my hand in the car when they always do that? And you're like, what did I do? Did I do something wrong? And then you get like those thoughts all the time and you're like, oh no. And then you think to like the worst case scenario. I forget what this is called. I think it's like catastrophizing, catastrophic thinking. So in therapy, yeah,
Catastrophic thinking.
in therapy you learn about different types of thinking that you can get. There's like black and white, catastrophic, or and like all these things. But I think it's like one of those thinking patterns that I get, and then you think like, oh, okay, well, if we're gonna break up, then whatever, I know exactly what to do when we break up. But it's like, why am I thinking like to the extreme? Yeah.
It's like the smallest thing, like when you're sleeping with them and then they face the other way, you're like, oh, they don't love me. Bro, that's
Your breast
exactly
just
what,
stinks. It's nighttime.
bro, like for some reason it's just in my head, you know, like, oh my God, like their foot isn't touching mine. Like, oh, we're gonna break up tomorrow. Like, damn. But you know, that's completely okay.
I get
It's just,
that.
you know, those ones.
I get that.
Like,
It's so
fuck.
funny.
Like, you didn't say good night. What do you mean? Like,
Yeah. Why didn't you text me good night? Why didn't you call me today? You call me every day, you know?
yeah.
Not that I say it out loud, because then I guess that's where like the passive aggressive
Of course.
communication.
It's just like, you know, it's just the way our brains maneuver,
Yeah.
and it's completely fair, but there are tools that you could use to stray away from those fucking feelings and thoughts.
And it's definitely hard to communicate those feelings and thoughts because again, most of the time they're going at a fast fucking rate, and you just like all of a sudden you're thinking all these things, and you could be like sitting outside on a park bench somewhere and like I don't know.
And then they ask what's wrong, and you're like, nothing.
Oh fuck. Oh, you know, just went on a tangent for like 15 minutes.
Dude.
The mood that I would get in, my ex had a word for it, and it was like, oh, you're Ms. right now.
You're miserable?
Yeah. I guess that what it is, I guess.
You're Ms.
Yeah, because they would use that word often. It just came. Damn. And I think so. I guess that's what it means. Like, why are you Ms.? I don't think it's miserable. Is it miserable?
I mean, it sounds like it. What's the other word?
I just Googled it right now too, and it said slang for miserable.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that means
maybe
miserable.
It is. Yeah.
Honestly, like I would consider that like a microaggression.
That's a little.
Or
why are you sus?
Yeah,
true. Dang, true.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So since we talked about our past and what happened and everything, could you two share how dating is like now and how maybe your mental health is like? Well, yeah, how your mental health is like now, if like anything has changed in terms of that.
You want to go first, Lisa?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. I feel like since I have had my diagnosis, but also like done research into my disorders and my common traits, it's helped me like one, love myself better, but two, be able to love other people. And yeah, I mean, I've had luck just being open about my mental health, and now I'm with Cruz, so it's good.
It's I think it's like definitely divine timing with me meeting Talisa, because I think I had just got diagnosed with BPD like a couple months before meeting Talisa, and she caught me at like the most perfect time where I was just like, you know, exploring more about mental health and whatnot. Heaven sent, man. Like she actually, like we have so much in common, and I like how we're so open with our mental health. And you know, communication, I'm not gonna say it's effortless, but it's so much easier dating someone with a mental health disorder or disorders. Just because, you know, there's so much overlap with our disorders. And at the same time, with me being with Talisa, I'm learning so much more about myself as well. And it kind of helps that, you know, you took psych and all that stuff, but but you know, like Talisa does her research and I do my research, and we don't even have to ask, you know. I think it's divine timing. Divine
for
timing.
real, just like effortless. It's nice knowing that you can understand me and I can understand you in some way. So
and look at us, we're doing a mental health podcast.
Right?
With Erika. Yeah.
Reminds me of the first episode when I don't know if it was in the recording, but since you're in psych and Matt's also in psych, like, oh, get yourself a psych baddie or something, or a psych bae.
I think I remember.
I think you said that, Cruz.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I think so. Probably
Yeah.
it sounds like me.
Yeah, get yourself a psych bae.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
like especially just now because I'm more comfortable with myself and obviously I'm taking more time to love myself as well. It's easier talking about mental health now with other people, you know.
Definitely a journey, but you know, everything is.
I also think like just growing up and having the different relationships, like your relationships that you had in high school are not the same as in
Definitely
university
fucking not.
and after university, you know, like
Yeah.
as in terms of dating, Tinder dating or whatever until now, it's like so different,
Yeah.
right?
Like not to compare either, but like this
no,
one,
yeah.
this one is like boom on the top. Fuck. It's the easiest. It doesn't feel like a relationship, you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like a fucking job or anything. It's like,
yeah. You've had that feeling before.
Yeah, you know,
Wow,
I was
yeah.
always on my toes with people just because.
Yeah, I feel that.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I've the people that I've been with weren't the greatest. So
Well,
sorry if you're listening to this.
You are.
My bad. It's just, you know,
Nothing personal.
We're okay. We're good.
Oh my.
Oops. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Since both of you have mental disorders, do you have advice for someone who's dating a person with one?
Yes.
Lisa, go ahead.
So, you know, love that. Love to see the sign language. If they've disclosed their disorders to you, and you know there's someone that you care about, go research and educate yourself, because there is so much more than just the surface level stereotypical traits that are associated with, you know, each and every disorder. So yeah, do your research, educate yourself, and communicate with your partner, because everybody is different and everyone's disorder is going to be different as well. You're not going to have everyone that has the exact same, you know, traits and feelings. We're all different. So yeah, making sure that you communicate and understand their boundaries as well as your own, because like we mentioned, you don't want to try to fix people, you don't want to try to be their therapist.
Right.
So yeah, knowing your own boundaries and figuring that out with your partner, very, very important.
And like again, it's a two-way street, right? It's not only you making all the effort, the person themselves also has to make an effort in communicating as well. So yeah. I think people should be patient.
Yeah.
Yes.
Patience is
a virtue.
A virtue, yeah. Not many people have it, unfortunately, but
what does virtue mean again?
It's like you know.
It's a virtue, you know. Just one of the virtues.
I didn't ask. Scrap.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I literally Google every fucking thing I think about.
A virtue is like something needed, like
showing high moral standards.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it says? Okay.
Behavior showing high moral standards. Cool. So yeah, patience is a virtue.
I think like going off on whatever we just said, like a person also doesn't even have to have a disorder, you know, but like regardless, you know, just fucking be patient.
Yeah.
Whether or not the person has a disorder.
Why not?
Again, it's so much easier said than done. You know?
Yeah.
But if you love the person, I feel like you would be willing to understand them.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Agreed.
I think especially if you're in long-term relationships, then obviously you get to learn a lot more about each other, or you grow with each other, and sometimes you just grow in different directions, or you learn too much about each other that you don't like certain things, or you learn something about someone and you don't like that thing, if that makes sense. Am I making sense?
See, long-term relationships is something that I have no fucking clue what they are, because I can't keep a fucking relationship. But that's something that I do want to learn. I don't know.
I mean, from my experience, I've been in a relationship for the past 5 years. And just being really open with each other and communicating is like number one, because like we mentioned, you're never going to know what someone else is thinking. And so being able to communicate your thoughts and your feelings and with your partner is going to help so much. I know that I like to do weekly or monthly like check-ins just to, you know, see how your partner is doing. You know, you can easily get yourself into a routine of just like, oh, hey, good morning. And, you know, how are you? I'm good.
True.
You know? So, yeah, I think it's important to do check-ins with your partner every now and then and just like actually dive deep into your relationship and who you are as individuals and who you are as a couple. Yeah.
Oh, thank you,
Nice.
T. I love that.
What else do we have? Any more advice?
That's all for me.
Yeah, I don't really have much
Okay.
to say. I think, but like as you said, Cruz, like everything we shared here, I think is definitely applicable to any relationship, any like type of dating. And for our last, or for my last question, I guess, do you have things that happen that is that how I ask it? Do you have things that happen that aren't helpful?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, at least, like in my deal with different relationships, I did have like an issue with substance abuse, and there were a lot of times where I guess it wasn't respected, and it wasn't really like thought about. I would like, you know, get into situations where I'm being enabled to do a drug and all that stuff. It just wasn't, you know, the partner wasn't helping the situation at all. So obviously enabling is not helpful at all. And it's not only like drug abuse, it could be anything that might trigger your partner, right? Just be cognizant of what you're doing and of like your surroundings as well. Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah, gaslighting. Gaslighting is basically like being dismissive of what someone is telling you or what their thoughts and feelings are, or also saying like that's not true. This is what really happened.
Super manipulative.
Very, very manipulative. Yeah, that's really not helpful at all. I also mentioned microaggressions earlier.
Yeah.
And microaggressions can just be anything that feels oppressive to you in some way. So for me, what I would consider a microaggression towards myself would be like, I don't know, oh, you're so annoying, like stop bouncing your leg, or why are you tapping your fingers like that, or something that just like makes me feel, oh my gosh.
Yeah, just like, why the fuck are you so fucking sensitive? That type, yeah. Attacked, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it makes me feel small. So yeah, that's not helpful.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
I think that is it. Thank you so much, Cruz and T. I can't believe we're at our 5th episode together.
Good
like,
job.
Holy pat on the fucking back,
right?
everyone.
Aw.
Yay.
Good job. Good job, you two.
Pat on the head.
Yeah.
Love it. Love
I'm
it.
trying to pat the back, but it's not working.
I'll
I don't know. Thank you so much, you two. And next episode that we're gonna be having on the series is gonna be psychedelics and mental health. So
Yeah.
groovy.
Groovy.
So stay tuned for
Groovy.
that in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, Cruz T, can you share how to support you and your projects? What's coming up?
Yeah,
Mhm,
Cruzy,
mhm.
take it away.
Okay. You can find me on Instagram at VMIVC, and I'm also doing a podcast with my cousin Ron. We're the Strong Ties podcast at Creating Strong Ties. Yeah, check us out. Check my art out.
Yay!
Thank you,
Lovely.
Lisa.
Yeah, you can find me on Insta at it's BBT ITS BBTEA. And you can check out my thrift page at Loose Fade. Yeah, I model, I act, I do art. You know,
She does it all. She does
yeah.
it all.
Come check out my meditations on my
Yes.
IGTVs.
Love it. So good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yay.
Thank you, Erika.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Always such nice chats with you two.
I
Good
know.
therapy session.
Yeah, that's well needed. Yep.
Thank you
Good
for
job today,
tuning
everyone.
into our therapy session.
Fuck. Everyone knows
That's
now.
funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Bye.